From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Friday's edition of For the People on this April the 28th, 2017. We got a big show lined up for you, but has this ever happened to you? I wish it has not happened to me, but it has. Our website crashed yesterday for the entire day, and it was kind of ridiculous to try to come up with a solution immediately, because when you're talking with people that are not in the same building, because who hosts our website, if you're like, what is Keith talking about? Well, we have a website. It's called forthepeopleshow.com, and that's where people, learn about our show and listen to the podcast on our front page, and we have a store page and all that other stuff. Well, it was just completely off. And Fat Cow is who we use out west. Yeah, Fat Cow. That's the name of it. And they host our website, and they said that there was malware on our website. That's not a good thing to hear. And I said, well, that's strange that our audio file has malware on it, because we use Macs and there's no indication there's any corruption on there. And I said, it's your servers. You guys host it. I pay good money for it. And it took them the entire day and night, and then 6 a.m. local time, Eastern Standard Time. When I say local time, where I do the radio show, at least here in Tampa, Florida, this site comes back up again. So that was a debacle in itself. And to boot, sometimes when it rains, it pours? It's not just the website, it's my printer. I'm giving you all my woes, okay? All the things that have happened to me, and hopefully you've had a better 2 days than I have. And I still am in a pretty good mood. So I have a Hewlett-Packard printer in my studio, and I print out, all the stuff that we're going to talk about, etc. So I just have the stuff at the ready. So if I need to quote somebody or read something, it's there. Well, the printer decides it doesn't like the new ink that I'm going to put in it. So I have to call customer service. Well, I'll buy some new ink. So I buy some new ink, same cartridges, does the same thing. A warning message. You got to remember something when you buy a printer. They're all disposable. We have a shelf life on them. And, a year, it's time to throw it out. The warranty's over, buy a new one. And this woman is reading from a playbook. Customer service. You can't stop them when they're in the middle of trying to troubleshoot in a book. It doesn't compute, and it's very frustrating. So anyways, I'm going to have to buy a new printer today. All right? So that's the worst thing. And she wanted to sell me a new printer, and then she told me that the ink, the two cartridges that I opened, that she'd be able to install in a new printer, and then she'd be able to send it to me, and then the new printer that she recommended doesn't take the new ink. Around and around we went for a good hour and something, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to hang up. I mean, it was terrible. And, she seemed nice enough and all that, but I know she wasn't stateside. And, she limited India or somewhere, God bless her, and it's just, they don't know really what's going on, only then what a book that's in front of them, page 35, and they read out of it. Man, it is frustrating. Can I get somebody that really knows what they're doing here? A little common sense might be good, and no matter what I said to her, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you shut the machine off? Can you replace the ink? Can you put the old ink back in? And around and around and around we went, and I did all this stuff already. And how I knew how to do this stuff, I have this thing that comes with the printer. It's called an owner's manual. And it kind of gives you that information. And online, they actually give you that thing, too, in support, where you actually type in your printer, and it kind of tells you things you can do to be able to do this. Anyway, wow. It's good to be with you. Anyways, I dumped all that on you, and I'm saying it's good. You probably just said, you know what, that's enough. You got me top there. But can you relate? Jeez, I guess it's so much easier just to go in and just buy the new printer. I think I'll feel real good about it. At least I have a year warranty on it. Something happens, then I can bring it back and all that good stuff. So President Trump heading to Atlanta for the NRA. Just saw him at Joint Air Force Base, get off Marine One. He's on Air Force One. He's in the air right now to Atlanta. The last person in the Oval Office to speak to the NRA was Ronald Reagan. So for Donald Trump to go to Atlanta to speak to the NRA, it's big. And thank God that the NRA was behind Donald Trump and appreciated Donald Trump, and I think he appreciates them. And I know the left is going to go have a field day with this stuff because there'll be the talking points tonight about the NRA and how dangerous they are and all this, hoopla and stuff like that. Remember, folks, just very simply, remember that guns don't kill people. People kill people. Got to be smart about it. I know, but what happens if guns fall into the wrong hands and the bad guys? There always will be bad guys. Doesn't matter. People need to protect themselves, and after all, it is our right to bear arms. Thank God it is our right. So the major issue right now still, with all the things that are being done in the 100 days, that's leading up Saturday to Donald Trump being in there, is North Korea. I've just signed another executive order today just before leaving for Atlanta, and that had to do with exploration for energy, on our shores of America here. What kind of energy do we have? That was shut down by Obama, didn't allow us to explore, alternative energy sources, and that's all it is right now to find out exactly what the deal is. Well, experts tell us that we have more than plenty of natural resources that could fuel America for a long, long time. Environmentalists, are concerned because if they start drilling close to shore, what happens if this happens and what happens if that happens. To me, if we can stay out of the Middle East, it'd be well worth it. We should be careful. We should learn from all the disasters that have happened before that we've seen. We've been to the movies. We've seen Exxon and all that, and the Valdez oil spill, all terrible things, bad for the environment, terrible when those things happen. And then, yes, the sea serpents and the fishes and people, and not good. But again, if we can stop being so dependent upon foreign oil, I think this is a great move, smart move. Trump is warning of a major, major conflict with North Korea. And an exclusive Oval Office interview with Reuters ahead of his 100-day benchmark for his administration, which takes place, by the way, it's marked this Saturday. Donald Trump, our president, candidly acknowledged that the international situation could go off the rails. He says there's a chance that we could end up having a major, major conflict with North Korea. Absolutely. We'd love to solve things diplomatically, but it's very difficult, he added. Trump also said South Korea should pay for the $1 billion U.S. Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, THAAD, anti-missile defense system in place to protect it from an attack from the north. The wide-ranging interview also included Trump's plan to defeat Islamic State terror network. He covered a lot of ground with Reuters. And he says, I have to say there is an end, and there has to be humiliation, he said. When asked about what the end game was for defeating Islamic violent extremism, he says, but talk was dominated by North Korea's situation, which has vexed past presidents, but seemed to have reached a fever pitch amid repeated threats and new tests of missiles by Kim Jong-un. He's 27-year-old. His father dies, took over a regime. So say what you want, but that's not an easy, especially at that age, Trump said. I'm not giving him credit, nor am I giving him credit. I'm just saying that's a very hard thing to do. As to whether or not he's rational, I have no opinion on it. I hope he's rational, he said. Trump, speaking ahead of his National Security Advisor's briefing, U.S. lawmakers on North Korea threat one day before Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will press the United Nations Security Council on sanctions to further isolate Pyongyang over its nuclear and missile programs. The Trump administration on Wednesday declared North Korea an urgent national security threat and top foreign policy priority. It said that it was forcing and focusing on economic and diplomatic pressures, including Chinese cooperation and containing its defiant neighbor and ally, and would remain open to these negotiations. So far, there's no open channel to these diplomatic initiatives, and especially with China getting into the mix, that further isolates North Korea. And a lot of experts say the more pinned in, the more angry he's going to get, the more defiant he's going to get, and the more nuclear explosions that you're going to see, and more launches we're going to see. I predict there's going to be a showdown. And I just hope that our guys are ready in South Korea and Hawaii. Everybody's ready to. There's rehearsals going on right now. There's more carriers coming out. Our submarines are ready. Just we have to be ready for it. Ready for anything. Chemical. Let's understand this guy's got chemicals. Be nice if China could just go in there and save the day, but it just doesn't look likely, according to experts. So this would be, for many people, and by the way, over 57% of Americans think that we need to use military force. So there's plenty of Americans that are behind this. Diplomacy only goes so far. This guy keeps on launching these things. This guy needs to be stopped, needs to be crippled once and for all. And, yeah, the regime just needs to come down, because this is passed down from generation to generation. This guy's going to do no better than his dad and his family before that. And the shocking video that I saw, now 6 weeks ago or so, I forget what channel it was, but it was going over the satellite imagery and what was known by the government, our government, as to what type of activities go on with prisoners. And there's tens of thousands of people that are locked up, and the most brutal treatment that you can possibly ever imagine happens to them, where their limbs are pulled out, noses or eyes are ripped out, ears are ripped off, toes and extremities and all sorts of. This is the kind of stuff that these people do every single day. And if it's not enough after you've died, they beat your carcass even after it's dead. I mean, I don't know what kind of people are doing this, but to me, that's pure evil. That's pure evil that this stuff goes on over there. And they say, oh, this guy's not crazy, Kim Jong-un. He's not crazy. Well, if he's not crazy, he's certainly a sicko. He's certainly a sicko. And certainly, how do you have, you don't have a conscience. We allow that kind of stuff to happen. I'm sorry, evil prevails. It's some kind of crazy. What else do you not call it? I don't know. It's crazy. By the way, this half hour is brought to you by 123 Ready TV. We've been talking about it for several weeks here on For the People, and I am as excited as the day that I first learned of 123 Ready TV when they called me and said, hey, we got this awesome app that's going to revolutionize how you watch movies on your smartphone or on your PC. And I said, well, how? And he goes, well, the internet has all this stuff on it already. Every single title that you can imagine, all your TV shows, classics, the present stuff that's even in the movie theater right now. And it's already on the web. So what our app does is it finds it for you so you don't have to go searching. You just type in the title, and there it comes.